Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a 17th century battle that was an absolute masterclass in strategy. It's a story that proves, in war, a brilliant mind can be the most powerful weapon of all.
Alright, here's how we're going to break this down. First, we'll set the stage for what really looked like an impossible fight. Then, we'll get into the revolutionary playbook that completely changed the game. After that, we'll witness the showdown at Kolhapur itself. And finally, we'll unpack how this one victory echoed through Indian history.
Okay, so let's set the scene. The year is 1659. We're in the Deccan region of India, and a new power is rising, the Marathas, led by the visionary Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj. And they are on a collision course with the huge, established might of the Adilshahi Sultanate.
So this was the big question for Shivaji, right? He just pulled off a series of pretty audacious victories and was capturing a lot of key territory. And, well, you can imagine this didn't sit too well with the Sultanate of Bijapur. Their response? Send a massive army to crush this growing rebellion once and for all.
Now, you really have to get the context here. This battle didn't just happen out of nowhere. Just a month before, Shivaji had scored this legendary victory at Pratapgarh against a very famous general, Afzal Khan. So the Sultanate was reeling, and they sent one of their top guys, Rustam Zaman, with one clear mission: put a decisive end to the Maratha problem.
And here's the stark reality of the situation. I mean, just look at these numbers. The Marathas were outnumbered to 2-1. Rustam Zaman is marching with 10,000 soldiers, and he's got elite cavalry and war elephants. Shivaji? He has a much lighter, more mobile force of about 5,000. On paper, this should have been over before it even started.
So how in the world do you overcome odds like that? Well, Shivaji's answer was pretty simple. Don't just fight harder, fight smarter. He developed a whole new playbook for warfare, one that was perfectly tailored to his army's strengths and his enemy's weaknesses. You see, this whole approach was really born out of necessity. Shivaji knew he just couldn't win a conventional, head-on slugfest. So instead, he turned the rugged, mountainous terrain of the Deccan into his greatest ally, using it to outmaneuver the bigger, slower-moving imperial armies. The absolute cornerstone of his philosophy was a concept called Ganimi Kava. Now, you can think of it as guerrilla warfare, but on another level. This wasn't just random raiding. No, this was a sophisticated system designed to harass, demoralize, and just completely disrupt a larger enemy. The goal was to keep them constantly off balance, never letting them use their superior numbers. But it was a whole comprehensive system. It combined these agile guerrilla tactics with a network of over 300 forts that were basically defensive strongholds and supply hubs. He also pioneered an indigenous navy to control the coastline, and, this is key, he established a super sophisticated intelligence network to know exactly what the enemy was up to.
So, with this revolutionary new playbook in hand, Shivaji was actually ready to face an army twice his size. Let's see how this all played out on the battlefield of Kolhapur.
This was a total clash of styles. On one side, you have Shivaji, the master of unconventional warfare with his quick, nimble force. And on the other, you've got Rustam Zaman, a seasoned general with a big, traditional army. And, to add to the drama, Zaman was supported by commanders like Fazl Khan, who was absolutely burning to avenge his father's death at Pratapgarh.
So dawn breaks on December 28th, and Shivaji doesn't wait to be attacked, he seizes the initiative. He launches this rapid, surprise assault with his cavalry just to pin the enemy down. But here's the masterstroke. While the main force was busy fighting, another one of his units secretly circled all the way around and smashed into the Adilshahi forces from the side and the rear. They were caught completely by surprise. The larger army, unable to turn and react, just collapsed into chaos. And that right there, that just shows you the level of genius we are talking about. This flanking maneuver wasn't just effective. Military historians actually compare it to the famous Tulguma tactic used by legendary commanders like the Mughal Emperor Babur. It was a textbook case of a superior strategy completely dismantling a much larger force. The battle itself was over in just a matter of hours, but its consequences? Oh, they would echo for decades, fundamentally shaping the future of the entire region. For the Adilshahi Sultanate, the aftermath was, well, it was catastrophic. We're talking an estimated 7,000 of their soldiers lost in a single day. That is a staggering number for that era. This wasn't just a military defeat. It was a devastating blow to their morale and their reputation. And it wasn't just the human cost. The Marathas captured thousands of horses and, get this,
12 war elephants. In 17th century India, war elephants were basically the tanks of their day. They were these powerful symbols of imperial authority, so capturing them sent a really loud and clear message across the Deccan. There was a new power on the rise.
And Shivaji didn't waste a moment. Riding this massive wave of momentum from his victory, he immediately targeted the strategic fort of Kelna. And the way he took it was pure cunning. He sent spies into the fort pretending to be deserters who were unhappy with his rule. Once they were inside, they started a revolt, creating chaos just as Shivaji's main army attacked from the outside. The fort fell almost instantly, and he renamed it Vishalgad, which means Grand Fort.
So why does the Battle of Kolhapur matter so much? Because this wasn't just one battle. Coming right after Pratapgarh, it was a 1-2 punch that basically crippled the Adilshahi Sultanate. It cemented Shivaji's reputation as an absolute military genius. It supercharged his army's morale, and it laid the groundwork for what would soon become the mighty Maratha Empire.
Ultimately, the Battle of Kolhapur is so much more than just a history lesson. It's a timeless case study in strategy. Shivaji's mastery of what we now call asymmetric warfare, his incredible ability to turn weaknesses into strengths, and his use of terrain as a weapon, all of these things still offer powerful lessons for leaders today. It really leaves you wondering, in our age of high-tech warfare, what other brilliant strategies from the past are just waiting to be rediscovered?